Oof. All right. I need to figure out like some kind of intro because every time it's fucking painful. I always get super nervous when I start, and then it's like once I get talking though, when I get excited, then it's better. But yeah, this intro. Apologies, but fuck you. So, anyways, uh, KoHoogkin fights podcast. Welcome. Yeah. So UFC 256 was this past weekend. So yeah, a lot to talk about. Fucking, oh my goodness. I mean, last time, yeah, I kind of started. I guess it wasn't the main event. It was the co-main event. I was talking about Valentina Shevchenko. Um, and for a second there, I forgot what the main event was last time in USA 255, but it was the same main event as this time. Fucking Davis and Figueiredo. But I'll get to that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, last pay per view of 2020, and it was fucking worth it. Oh my goodness. Um, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. Let's start with the start, the beginning. That's one story. Um, yeah, Chase Hooper. Damn, I got feedback. Yeah. So, anyways, Chase Hooper. Well, let me adjust my. I feel like I'm climbing up the wall. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, Chase Hooper. So yeah, I guess he's the youngest male athlete signed to the UFC right now. He's like 21. He's like a fucking BJJ phenom of sorts. And in his last fight, he fought Caceres. Uh, damn, I'm gonna sneeze. Me scusi. But yeah, in that fight, I can't remember who said it, but I think multiple people described it as it looked like a grown man beating up a little boy, which basically is what it was. I mean, Caceres he's a fucking vet, and Chase Hooper's a little boy. He wasn't even 21 yet in that last fight. I think 6 months ago, and in that fight, he kept trying to pull guard because I mean that's his bread and butter is his fucking jiu-jitsu grappling, his submitting. Um, Beast at submitting people, but he he tried pulling guard. He couldn't get Caceres to the ground. He couldn't get his grappling going, and his fucking stand up was. I mean, it's exactly like it was described. It looked like some dude showed up at a high school to beat up a kid, and so yeah, in the past 6 months, so in this fight he did Chase Hooper. He did he has made improvements. You can tell his standing, his striking is better, but it's just the gap in between his grappling and his striking is fucking huge. How if and however, I mean he's only 21, so he's got time to grow, but he has made marked improvement. Like you can tell that he worked on it. And I'll say for this fight, so I did make a bet on this fight. So I knew after that fight with Caceres that he's and this is another thing that to his credit, he did not quit. He was getting his ass whooped that entire fight, 3 rounds, getting his fucking face worked. And there was someone else I can't remember who. Maybe it was fuck. Uh, damn it, what's the name? I'll look real quick. I forgot his name. Yeah. Peter Barrett. There we go. I think it was Peter Barrett, his opponent this time, that said that there's something. He's like, yeah, Chase Hooper's really good at. There's something he's really good at, and that's blocking punches with his face. And he went in there and he made that effort to do that because like in that last fight, yeah, he just right in the face. He didn't keeps his he 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 doesn't have a good guard with his hands. He doesn't keep his hands high at all. There, he drops them a lot. He barely holds them up, and he doesn't have any head movement. He keeps his head on straight on line. He kind of throws combos. One thing he was doing, he working his kicks because he's super long and lanky. So he's uh doing decent job at controlling the distance and utilizing his fucking long ass spider monkey legs to throw kicks, and he had a couple, I think, couple high kicks that he threw him off of. Can't remember his exact combo, but he did throw. It was either probably like a jab cross or something, and then he hit the high kick off of that. So I mean, you can tell he's been doing work, but so in this fight against Barrett, oh damn, my fucking brain, I skip around. Oh, so I was saying, yeah, I did make a bet on this. So I knew after that fight with Caceres that he wasn't gonna quit. It's like, even if he's getting his ass whooped the whole time, he's not gonna quit, and he's not likely he's gonna get knocked out. And so I'm like, it's either gonna go to decision, or I can see him submitting Barrett, because Barrett has been submitted. He has a couple losses, and he has at least 2 or 3 losses to submissions where he got, I think, rear naked choked and armbarred. I think he's been armbarred like twice. So I was like, all right, if this guy, and he's young, I think this might have been his UFC debut. He got his contract coming off of the Dana White's Contender Series, which, if you don't watch, I mean, the season's ended for this year, but it's fucking great. It's a lot of good fighters that come off of there. I mean, like last time, main card, fuck, damn it, Moreno's opponent, Alex Perez, yeah. So he came off of that. But anyways, so I believe this was Barrett's first fight in, maybe not, fuck, but either way, he's like brand new to the UFC, and I knew he's susceptible to fucking submissions, and also, I mean, he has some TKO wins, but those were like real early in his career. I don't remember which promotions, but whenever he's doing region, it definitely wasn't in UFC, so it's not like he's knocking out dudes at this level. And after watching fucking Chase Hooper block, all those punches and kicks with his face last time, I was like, all right, he's probably not gonna knock him out. And I was like, so he has a good, I feel like he's a smart kid, and I seen him because I follow Sean O'Malley, Shook Sean, and Tim Welch on there, because they have a podcast and they do some other I'm on their Patreon and all that. So I follow them, and they work together, and he seems like he's a smart kid, and he enjoys what he does, and I feel like he put in the work and the effort to make the improvements over last time. So I was looking at it, I was like, all right, I don't think he's gonna get knocked out. I think he's gonna make the adjustments to be able to get close enough to grapple Barrett, and as I'll probably take him a couple rounds to wear him down, and to fill him out and be able to get that grappling on. So the bets that I made were for Chase Hooper for him to win by submission, and so I kind of spread it out. So I made a bet on, because so let's see, what do we have here for. So Hooper by submission for round 1, it was plus 375, so that's basically almost 4-1 odds. And then Chase Hooper round 2 by submission is plus 1,000, so it's like 10-1. And then round 3 submission is plus 14, or plus 1,400. So I made a little bet on each of those, just because the plus money is so big that, big return, low risk, big reward. So I made a small bet on each one, because I figured, I was like, yeah, if he wins, he's going to submit him. It's just a matter of which round. So I just made a small bet on each one, because if any one of those hit, it's going to cover the small amount that I would lose on the other ones. And then in the event that he didn't, just to kind of cover in case he didn't, I still figured he would probably win. Going into it, I thought he was going to be more effective with the grappling. Like, he would be able to get Barrett to the ground. earlier and grapple him more and control the fight. So I also made a bet on there. It's like, okay, in case he doesn't submit him, I still figure he'll win. So I made the bet that he'll win by points, and that was plus 350. And I just made a small bet on that, just small enough to cover the other bet. So that way, if he didn't submit him, but he did win by points, I'd break even still. So just so that was just kind of I don't know. There's probably some real term embedding or whatever for it. Hold on, sorry. Oh yeah. But. So yeah, yeah. Maybe there's some term for it, but for me, it's like I don't know. I figured, yeah, the gamble is that he's gonna win by submission and in what round, and then I made this little bet just to cover that in case that doesn't happen. Excuse me. And then oh, I also did, and then Barrett's the underdog too. So then I also made a small bet on Barrett in case he wins, because it was plus 245. Um, so in case Barrett did win, it would cover the other one. So then I would still break even. But either way, I kind of set it up so that no matter what, or almost no matter what, I guess if Chase Hooper, if Chase had knocked him out, then I would have been fucked all around and wouldn't won anything. But I didn't expect that to happen at all, and he didn't really even get, even though he was kind of landing some of those head kicks. He wasn't ever really in danger of knocking him out. But so what he did do, um, yeah, come out in the first round. Bears obviously like ahead of him in striking. So I can't remember which round. Maybe if he tried to pull it off in the first round. So the way that he was able to get close, I think he did get him down once. I think he caught a leg kick. Chase caught a leg kick and was able to try to work out a takedown. But then eventually, so how he did end up find his successes in the third round, he did a Eminari roll where he's able to get down, and then he got Barrett, got him by his leg, got him down to heel hook, and then down to a leg lock, and they're in like the 50-50. I don't know if it was a proper 50-50, but they were entangled, and then he got his fucking just twisted that leg. He got him. So tap. So I did hit on that. So very first fight of the night, I was like, oh yeah, felt supremely confident. I was like, wow, yeah, I did great in this one. Because actually, so he got that submission in round 3, which was plus 1400 odds on that one. So great return. So I was doing well, going on to the rest of the fights, and the rest of them were parlays, and I don't know, part of the I do the parlays because it's like, because for example, I made like a $5 bet, and if all the pieces hit, it would have been like $800 from a $5 bet, but in that one, like the first leg of the parlay was for Barrett to win, and obviously didn't. And now that I'm looking at, well, actually, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There was 5 legs to that, and 1, 2 of them hit. So, but it was like $5, whatever. So I made some other bets to cover those later. But the next one. Actually, none of my parlays hit. Yeah, now that I'm looking at it. Cause I did. So I found another something. Like I said, I've said it before. I've been learning this as I go along. So there's another thing. So I think it's the round robin or whatever. So you pick a certain say to pick 6 fighters. Be like, all right, these 6 to win, and then you do the round robin, and so it basically breaks it out to any combination of so like 2 and 2 of each combination. So it's kind of a way to like spread it out. But long story short, None of my parlays went through. So, so going from Chase Hooper, what was next? Oh yeah, Ticia Torres and Sam Hughes. So the last time I saw, oh yeah. So this one, so like they were saying about Chase Hooper getting beat up, and the last one looked like an adult beating up a kid. This is what this one looked like. Ticia Torres, she was originally scheduled to fight Angela Hill, but I guess she tested positive for COVID, so that fight got canceled. And Sam Hughes got the call, and so the last time, so I saw Sam Hughes fighting, I think it was LFA. She, fuck, what was her first name? Her opponent, her name was like Demopolis. But anyway, so her opponent, something Demopolis, that beat her. So it was a 5-round fight. And Sam Hughes was beating this girl up the whole time, boxing, outstriking her, and it was like right at the end of the 5th round. The Demopolis girl, she does like this crazy ass upside down inverted triangle, and puts her to sleep. Like it was crazy. And then she became the first like LFA. What would they been, flyweights? I think. Was it 125? So she's the first like champ of that division, female champ of that division ever. But she pulled off that crazy thing at the end. She's getting her ass beat the whole time, and then pulled off that crazy inverted triangle. And then her next, this is Demopolis uses a point that she lost at the belt or whatever. I think it was LFA. And then the next time I saw Demopolis was she was in Contender Series, and she lost to what's that girl's name? She's from like Manchester, or maybe she's Welsh or something. I think she just fought recently. She just fought recently, but anyway, and she won. But so the Demopolis girl just got dominated. She got taken down, and she just got controlled the whole time. So looking at this, I didn't make any bets on this fight, but and I also think the odds were fucking. I mean, they were correct. They're pretty stacked against Sam Hughes. But so, like watching this, like before the fight even started, I'm like, Sam Hughes, she's gonna get her ass whooped, because so it's like the last fight that she had, the person that I saw beat her got her ass beat by someone just previously. So, and I guess, I mean, that's not always, I guess, an indicator, but Sam Hughes is, yeah. Oh wait. Oh yeah. So yeah, here it is right here. So it was like, yeah. So it was like negative 650 for Ticia Torres and plus 475. So it was like almost 5-1 against Sam Hughes. I mean, it was, or minus 650. So yeah, more than that. But damn, my brain. But so they go into it. Ticia Torres is fucking on fire, just fucking head moving, getting in and out. She's just doing whatever she wants. And right at the end of the first round, she gets she just picks her up straight up in the fucking like potato sack, straight up in the air, and slams her, and is controlling the ground right at the end of the first round. And then in between, then they go to commercial, and then when they come back, it's the doctors call the fight, and then they play back what had happened in between, like during the commercial, in that break between rounds. And Sam Hughes, so her coach because she has like a scratch underneath her eye, so I guess there had been like an eye poke, and he goes, "Hey, you got poked in the eye. How's your eye?" And she's like, yeah, it's good. And then he takes her head, and he like turns her head for her around, so she's facing the cage to one of the coaches that's on the outside, And he's like, look at her face, look at her eye, look, you see that? Look at her eye. And he's like, how's your eye? And when she turns back, she's like, oh yeah, I can't see. And then the coach is like, oh, and then he calls the doctor over. He's like, hey, look at her eye. She said she can't see. So then everybody knows, if you say you can't see, they have to stop. They have to stop the fight. The commission's gonna stop. They're not gonna allow the fight to go on if their vision is compromised, because you can't see strikes coming. So they're gonna stop the fight. So everyone knows that you even if you just say yeah I can see, I'm good, let me keep going, but she's like yeah I can't see. So then they game over. They call the fight. And when I was texting one of my buddies, I was like this fucking idiot. It's like, what a fucking idiot. Why would you say you can't? Everybody knows. Like in that fight with DC and Cormier, DC and Stipe stuck his finger like down to the fucking his knuckles into Cormier's eye, and he was like, no, I can see. But you're looking in his eye, it looks like it fucking was disgusting. Like it looked like someone stuck their finger knuckle deep in his eye, which he did. But he fought the rest of the fight fucking halfway blind. He could have been like, oh, I can't see, it was a illegal eye poke. But no, he's like, no, the champion shit. I mean, I guess it's medically stupid, but you know what I mean? That's what they're there for. And I mean, not to get poked in the eye, but to fucking fight. So I'm like, this fucking idiot. Why would she do that? Dumb fucking idiot. But then I was thinking about it. And this is a whole maybe conspiracy theory. I mean, not even a conspiracy theory, but this is my theory. Smart move on her management and her coaches. Much smarter at what they're doing than she is at. They're much better at their job than she is at fighting. But also, she was going to get her ass beat for the next 2 rounds. She was already tagged up. She had marks. Tisha Torres just looked fucking pristine, brand new. And she was doing whatever she... And also, that's another thing. Tisha Torres is number 10. She's top... So this Sam Hughes' first fucking fight in the UFC is against a top 10 opponent. Granted, I can't remember who said it, but whoever said it, I agree with. It's like... And I'm just a fucking fan. I don't know. I've never done it. I've never been in there. But so this is just a fan's opinion. But I feel like, getting to the UFC, once someone's in the UFC, they should be ready to fight anybody in the top 15. I mean, and that's, I mean, I'm saying that specifically for people getting to the UFC, because that's what kind of how, the fights that we want to see. It's supposed to, because I mean, that's how the UFC advertises itself. It's the best of the best. But anyways, so as a first fight, the top 10 in the world, she's fighting, of all the women at her weight in the world, that's Tisha Torres is number 10. So that's fucking crazy that's her first fight. And I was wondering, how the fuck did she get that fight? But then I forgot. Yeah, Angela Hill fell out. So Tisha Torres didn't have an opponent. She needed an opponent. And I'm sure and I think even in her post-fight interview, she said they were calling people up, but everyone's like, nah, I'm good. For good reason. They were like, nah, I'm not voluntarily on short notice going in there getting my ass whooped. But Sam Hughes is, I'm sure her management or coaches or whatever, they're like, ooh, great opportunity. So, I mean, I'm sure she got at least like a 3-fight contract out of it. So they're like, all right, yep, you're going to go in there. It's a win-win. This is her entrance into, she gets what all pro fighters are looking for. She gets her UFC contract. Then she gets, I'm sure multiple fights on that contract. And she also gets to fight someone in the top 10 on a pay-per-view it's a pay-per-view card, prelim card. So she's going to get all that, eyes on for that. So, and, if she loses, you're like, oh, you lost to the fucking 10th ranked person. So in the entire world, I mean, not terrible. So you're like, yeah, she's number 10. Of course I lost, kind of thing. So I think from like a management, from like a strategic standpoint, uh, smart move. I mean, you know what I mean? Because like everyone's trying to get in the UFC. This was her chance, and even though I'm like, it feels slimy to me. It's a smart call that they're like, oh, and there was a smart way to get out instead of like, oh, we quit. There's like, oh no, she can't see. The commission call it off. Hey, what can we do? Hands in the air, all shoulders, all shrugs. So yeah, like her management, her coaches or whatever, much better at their job than she is at fighting. But and like I said, I'm just a fan. She's better than I am. So this is me making my observations. But so I think that's my read on kind of what happened there. So, but yeah, it's she was just gonna get fucking pieced up for the rest of the fight. It was gonna be ugly. But anyways, so less about how bad she is and how great Tichator is. Like, oh my goodness, I'm excited to see her um in the next fight and whenever she does get to fight. If she fights like that and they do reschedule her to fight Angela Hill, ooh, it's gonna be good, gonna be fire. So then like I said, I didn't make any bets on that one. I just looked at it and I was like, oh my, I told my buddy, it's like Sam Hughes is gonna get her ass beat. But anyways, not to shit on her. We'll see how she does coming down the road. And and another thing about that. So her, like I said, her Demopoulos, she got beat in Contender Series, so she didn't get a UFC contract. But Sam Hughes, who Demopoulos beat for a belt in LFA, now she does have a UFC contract. So, like I said, I mean, smart, good moves on her management's part. So the next fight was Gavin Tucker and Billy Quarantillo. But Billy Quarantillo, I believe he was in Ultimate Fighter. Did he make it on there, or he tried out? And it was the season with Conor McGregor. But the only reason I'm remembering or bringing it up is because Uriah Faber gave him the nickname. I'm pretty sure it was him. He got the nickname Channing Wahlberg because he said he looked like a mix between Channing Tatum and Mark Wahlberg. And I mean, I guess if that means a smushed looking, smush face kind of Wahlberg. But anyways, so Gavin Tucker, long story short, Gavin Tucker whooped him the whole time. I mean, he didn't whip him, but it was, Gavin Tucker looked fucking clean. He was, his striking was, he was accurate. Like Billy Curran, he was throwing these big looping shots. Gavin Tucker's throwing straight punches. He was getting in and out. His footwork, his head movement. He looked great. And I was like, man, this guy's good. I went to follow him on Instagram and I was like, oh shit, I'm already following him. So I guess I feel bad. I don't remember where I saw him before, but I obviously I've seen him before and I was impressed then. But for some reason I didn't remember his name. Maybe because he's Canadian. I don't know. But now I'm gonna remember for sure this time. But anyways, yeah, definitely good. A guy to keep an eye on, Gavin Tucker. Fight after that was Renato Moicano and Rafael. Every time I see the name Rafael, now I want to say Rafael, like Brazilians, but Rafael Fiziev. So I heard people talking about this guy. I can't remember where, but they're like, yeah, they're excited, looking forward to this one, and he was a guy to look forward to. It's I guess he's a coach at Tiger Muay Thai and kickboxing, like world champ, I think, of some sort. But anyways, he's coach at fucking Tiger Muay Thai, so if he's coaching over there, he's fucking good. And he put on a striking display. He was it was beautiful. There's another dude to follow, Rafael Fiziev. So his striking was on point. I mean, he TKO'd the dude in the first round. Like, yeah. But let's go up. Oh shit! Yeah, the next one after that, Cub Swanson and Daniel Pineda. So I guess I believe the stat on Daniel Pineda was he has 100% finish rate, which um, means all the fights that he's won have been by knockout or submission, and so I believe he has over 20 wins. I believe so. That's a lot of knocking and choking outs that he's done. And also, so when they, I mean, Coach Swanson is a fucking vet, OG, fucking beast. I think he's 37, and I can't remember what his record was looking like coming into this, but he was under he's a plus 145 underdog coming into this. But I was like, man, I like Coach Swanson. He it looks like what's that dude, the dog face cranberry juice dude? He looks like it. But I was like, I've seen him doing a couple interviews. He's on a couple podcasts and stuff, and he just seems like like a cool guy, like a nice dude, and like a nice family dude. Like, well, whatever, something, nice things, whatever. Fill in the blanks. But I mean, then also his record, he's a fucking beast, and I guess people kind of feel like because I think he's coming off, off an injury. He tore, I think, his ACL. He had like a really bad leg injury, um, so I think that's part of the reason. So it's like his age, his previous injury, and people come. Well, he was kind of bet the underdog, and also Daniel Pineda's. I mean, just been knocking out and choking out people. I can't remember what his win streak is. He was on before this, but so then excuse me. Uh, so they get in there and so the first thing I noticed, I was like, damn, Pineda is huge compared to. He looks fucking huge compared to Cub Swanson. Like even his legs, they look like fucking tree trunks. And I'm looking at Swanson's legs, and I was like, oh man, what the? I can't remember if it was the left or the right one that was injured. I think the left, but I was like, oh man, I'm just like judging his calves, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I don't know if his legs are gonna work. I'm still nervous after the heartbreak. Fucking Sugar Sean's leg falling apart in his last fight, and so they get in there and just notice, yeah, there's a huge size difference. So then they start going at it, and Swanson is, I would say, I mean, almost, yeah, significantly, like he was faster for sure. He was his head movement was great. He was getting out of the way of most of the strikes, and when they were throwing punches, his jab was landing. Like they would, it was like they would initiate a jab would start at the same time, and Cub Swanson's his was landing first. So his jabs were faster, they're straighter. But Pineda, so he comes out with starts calf kick, leg kicks, lower leg, like leg strikes, and fucking it looked like he was about to chop Swanson's leg off. Like there was something, he was spinning him. There's a couple times like he spun all the way around. I think he might have even fallen down once or twice from the leg strikes. And you could see the welt immediately on his calf. His leg was turning red, and it was just, I was like, fuck, it looks like he's just gonna chop his fucking leg right. Like one of these kicks, it looked like he's gonna kick a field goal with that thing. It was just gonna go spinning off over the cage, and but Swanson. So he started getting, as a fight was going on, because his strikes were landing, especially his jab, and it was starting to wear on Pineda. You could see him slowing down a little bit. I mean, Swanson was already faster, but Pineda started getting a little slowing down, and Swanson started getting the read on his kicks. So he was checking some of them, or getting out of the way, or once Pineda started to throw, once he like set his hips to start at to throw the kick, Swanson poof jab, poof jab. Like his jab was beating his kick. So they get through the first round, go into the second round, and Yeah, I mean, he TKOs him. It was fucking beautiful. I can't remember the actual sequence. Damn, I need to go back and watch it. But it was good. It's worth checking out. You could tell. So it's always, I guess, good or fun when you see fighters, like as an observer watching it, and you see them overcome some sort of adversity during the fight, like for the one with Chase Hooper, where he was clearly outmatched striking, and he was trying to get the takedowns, but Barrett was stuffing his take. He was just stopping him, and he made his adjustments through the first round into the second round, where he started controlling range a little more with his kicks, and then he was trying to Eminari roll, and until the third round when he's finally able to, uh, uh, overcome the advantage that Barrett had in striking, and finally get it to the ground where he wanted, and then he submitted him. So it's always cool to see that sort of thing, when when the fighter's clearly outclassed, or they're just something that they're trying that isn't working, but they make an adjustment to get where they make the fight go where they want it, which especially at that level that they're fighting in the UFC, it's very difficult to do, because the margins of error are so small, and the talent is so high there already, that it's making those adjustments. It's just small margin of error. Um, so same thing. So going in with this fight, so yeah, it looked like Pinedo's gonna kick Swanson's fucking leg off of his body, but he adjusted to that, and he adjusted his striking, and I wish I could remember the exact sequence of how the knockout happened, but I remember. So that now that I'm thinking about, so yeah, they did. I remember Pineda had him close, because there were a couple times where Swanson, he did get a good. He found a place, as they say, found a place for his right hand on Pineda's chin a couple times. So he had him rocked a couple times, and there's a time where Pineda backed him up to the fence, and Swanson was like covered up, but then he didn't like come out wild swinging. He covered up, and he kind of timed and aimed his shot. He had some good, I think it was an uppercut that backed Pineda off and rocked him, and then he was able to come back. I can't remember. Fuck, I can't remember left hook. I can't remember what it was. But either way, the whole point of all that rambling was it's really cool to see, like the because a lot of people, they look at fighting, they're like, oh, it's just brawling by fucking Neanderthals or whatever, but how much brain work, and people also they like, oh, there's a chess match going on here, especially, oh man, when you see like Israel Adesanya. But anyway, so there's some fights where people are like, oh, it's boring, they're not doing anything, but if you're kind of know what you're watching, it is, especially with like heavyweights. Sometimes it's a chess match. They're competing over position, not even just like when they say with like grappling or wrestling, when you're competing for dominant position. Even in the standing game, they're competing for foot placement, and position inside of the cage, or if they're moving to, depending on if their opponent's standing southpaw or orthodox, or what their power side, which side they're moving towards or away from the power side, or trying to then working in feints, and seeing what their opponent's reaction is going to be, seeing how that they're going to kind of determine how and if their opponent's going to block, or if they're how and if they're going to counter strike, so that's kind of like they're planning. Also, with when they're throwing combinations, it's not like people like, oh, I'm just gonna try to punch him in the face. Yeah, obviously everyone's trying to do that, but then so they're also thinking, all right, well, I say, oh yeah, I do want to land that right hand on his chin, but he knows I'm trying to land my right hand on his chin. How am I gonna set that up first? Like, am I jab then cross, or or like when you'll hear him talking about hiding uh, hiding the kicks behind a jab or something. So they're setting it up. So they're like, all right, they're like thinking, and that's why they say it's like chess. It's like three moves ahead, three strikes ahead. They're like, all right, I'm gonna throw these two so that I can land this one. And that's what you could tell. And a vet like Swanson, you could see what the fuck. Oh, you could see him doing that. So it's beauty pur. Beauty. Oh, Dolbean. I got a text from Dolbean trying to get Dolbean and WanTaeWu on here too. I'm gonna get Wante. My buddy WanTaeWu. He's never been in a fight, or I guess and there was a time that I knew him when he had never been hit in the face. When I was talking to him about it the other day, making fun of him, and he was like, "No, I didn't." So I did get punched in the face, but it was by a friend. I guess and I was like, "Oh shit, man, I'm sorry. Was that me?" He was like, "No, it wasn't. It wasn't me." I guess I think when he was in Korea, some buddy was drunk at the barracks or something, and he was like trying to calm him down, and the dude punched him. He was like, "Man, bro, of all the people to punch, why are you punching? What are you punching me?" Let me Bean. I know you don't listen to these, but just so you know, I'm taking the time to text you back in the middle of it. What for? But yeah. So we also talked about it'd be funny to try to get WanTaeWu in his first to see what it'd be like working up to getting into a fight. But he's fun to watch in confrontations because he's a legitimate genius, like tested genius, and watching the way he interacts with people. I made a kind of a mention of it on the Hoogkin episode 1 thing. I was talking about the cat lady from our class, this girl that he. I mean, telling the story back, it sounds like bullying, but first of all, she's an adult. She's in the military, and she's also a fucking pain in the ass. So, let's call her the instigator for the sake of it. All right, that way, I feel like not a bad guy. She's the instigator. Okay, that's the narrative we're gonna paint here. That's how I want you to hear it with your ears. Okay, hear it completely soaked in bias on my behalf. There we go. But I mean, also, so this is how she was an instigator. She's in the Air Force, so number one, there you go. If you need any other evidence, I don't know what it is, but so super fucking sensitive people, the Air Force. Everything, nothing's ever good enough for them. Everything is always like them being cheated or someone's taking comfort away from them. These motherfuckers have air conditioning in their little tents during their whatever, not boot camp, their Air Force initiation. I don't think it's a boot camp or anything. So she was, and she was also terrible in class. So this is we were in all in a class together. She's terrible at just being a student because of everything. And WanTaeWu, like I said, he was just a fucking genius at it, and he always did well without any effort. And it drove her nuts too. So, because she didn't have that little high horse to be like, "Oh, well, you're acting up. That's why you're such a bad student." It's like, oh no, he's acting up, and he's probably the best student in the class. So, and you're well behaved, quote unquote, but you suck. And yeah, so I did this whole lead up for nothing. I can't think of a good specific example of some of the stupid shit she would do, but she would cry in class, and like if she got a bad grade, she would fucking cry or just be like, "Oh, this is so difficult. I don't understand. I'm doing everything I can. Why isn't it just working for me?" It's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up. But so anyways, she ended up crying so much and getting rolled out of class. and I want to give WanTaeWu credit for it, but I mean it was also just her sucking. Also, that's where most of the credit goes, is to her her inability to perform. But also, when WanTaeWu could, he would put little jabs in there. But a lot of them he did at first, because then it was kind of like it was just too easy, you know. So then it was just like, oh, now this just feels mean. Like our buddy Cajun, I don't remember if I talked to him about him on here, but there's a time we were doing something and he's like, "There's there's there's being mean, and then there's just rude." And so after a while, I just kind of felt rude, and we're like, "All right," so we stopped messing with her unless she engaged. If she engaged with us, and we're like, "All right, that she's ringing the bell. We're fucking coming to dinner. Eat that ass." Yeah, that's what I meant. I said it and I meant it. But oh shit, yeah. Oh, Delby. I gotta get him on too to talk about this other thing, some other projects. But anyway, so WanTaeWu interactions with people. So that the cat lady getting kicked out or getting herself rolled out of class. But um, this other time, so he came to visit me. We were in California, and we went downtown. We went to this, like, it's not a club, it's like a restaurant. And then at night, it turns it like they clear out the chairs and they like make a dance floor on the patio in the back, and then they had like a karaoke thing in there too. So they would do sorry. One day, I mean, the whole being look weird. There you go. Yeah. So then it's like a restaurant, and then at night they clear the stuff out to make the dance floor on the patio, and then the karaoke kind of thing inside. So we were in there, and at the time, I don't think I was drinking. Pretty sure. Damn, I'm pretty sure I wasn't drinking. Which also kind of. So I probably wasn't. So that's probably the reason that we. Yeah, spoiler that we didn't actually get in a fight. But this is like the closest a thing that he would had gotten into a fight. So anyway, so I can't remember what it was. So there was, I think he was dancing with some dude's girl or something like that, and then the dude got pissed, and I mean the guy was big. He's and fuck, I wish I could like show you. So there's something like the guy was getting all butt hurt, and yeah, I had to not be drinking because otherwise I would have I would have carried on the instigations, but uh yeah, so the dude, they're like on the kind of like on the dance floor, and the guy's mean mugging him, and the guy's like, yeah, like I'm gonna fuck you up or something like that. And Wante, he just does this thing where he like puts his like his index finger on his eye and like mimes a tear running down his face, and just goes oh, and it's like making this baby crying face at the guy like oh. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in the middle of like a like you know that little chest puffing before people start fighting, when they're like, yeah man, I'm gonna fuck you up, this and that, and talking shit, and then like Wante's response is to make a oh and like mime a tear falling down his face. That was hilarious to me. But oh yeah, I definitely wasn't drinking. Now I'm thinking because and then I was because I mean, well, at least back then I was never the like peacekeeper. I was always there. I would have been involved, but I would have been offended on behalf of WanTaeWu and fought for it. Because I've also done it before. There's a whole nother thing with this dude. I'll skip to that one in a minute. So I'll finish this real quick. So yeah, long story short, we we end up we don't fight, like it goes on for some of the night. There's like they keep passing each other, and it's like we're all like posturing up, and I'm just like, all right, I'm getting ready. I'm like, okay, if this dude throws, and we're gonna have to do it, whatever. But in the end, like, we went outside or something, and we're about to leave, and then WanTaeWu was like, man, I don't feel good about this, and he goes back inside, and I'm waiting outside for him. He doesn't come out, and I go back in, and he's on the back patio, and him and the dude are like hugging each other and fucking crying, like they became best friends. So I don't know. I don't even know what WanTaeWu did or said to him, but like, it started out like the dude was gonna murder him, and then in the end, it's like, because the dude was big too. It was just like big. They were just like in each other's arms, crying and fucking having a heart to heart with each other. So I think that was like the closest he ever got to a fight, and it ended up fucking. He was like, they were like not, fucking stranger, new best friends. But yeah. So this dude that I did fight on behalf of WanTaeWu, because this was when I was fucking young, and I was drinking. So I brought him out with a bunch of it. So he was in the army, I was in the Marines, and this fucking kid, I can't remember his name, but he kept, so WanTaeWu was in the army, so the kid just kept saying, he's like, oh, Rangers lead the way, huh? Rangers lead. He kept saying that to WanTaeWu, which is stupid anyway, because he's, first of all, I think we were in like our training school, and WanTaeWu was in a fucking Ranger, but this kid was just like, oh, Army, Ranger, oh, Rangers lead the way, huh? He just kept fucking saying it to him and kept fucking with him. And it was like we were going out, going around, like we were just downtown going to different bars and clubs. And everywhere we went, this kid just kept doing it, like all night long. And I was like, all right, hey man, if you want to fight this guy, I was like, no one else is going to fuck with you. It's like, if you're worried that you hit this dude and everyone else is gonna, I was like, no, it's like, no one's gonna fucking do it. I was like, don't worry, no one's gonna fuck with you. And he's like, no, man, I've never been in a fight. I don't really fight, this and that. He's like, it's all right. He's like, whatever. He's just talking. And I was like, well, you're my guest. I brought you out with us, and like, I'm not gonna just sit here while this fucking dude is like abusing you and harassing you. Well, you're here as my guest. I'm not gonna fucking just sit around. And he's like, all right, well, whatever, man. He's like, it's fine with me. So then I was like, dude, shut the fuck, leave him alone, blah, blah. And he's like, well, and I was like, all right, let's go talk. So we go out to the parking lot behind this, it's like a restaurant. And all I remember is, so we get out back. All I remember, we're in the parking lot. All I remember is like squaring up, like putting my hands up with the dude. And then like I said, I was fucking hammered. So I remember squaring up with him, and then the next thing I remember, I have him in a rear naked choke, and he's tapping me, and I'm just like yelling at him, like, no, you stupid bitch, you fucked with my friend, and now you're gonna tap, you're gonna be an asshole, and now you're gonna tap. I'm just yelling at him, and then I remember he just goes limp, and I was like, oh shit. I realized like I was too busy yelling at him, and I didn't, and he fucking goes out, and I let him go, and terrible. The whole thing, terrible plan. Stupid. So passes. I choke him out, let him go, and then I realized what I did. I let him go, and we're standing. So he falls from fucking head height, and his head. We're in the parking lot, and it just lands on the asphalt, and it's like like he dropped. It sounds like when you drop a fucking watermelon. It's just like I was like, oh fuck, I just killed this dude. I was like, his brains, and I was like looking at him, I was like, if his brains don't come out of his ears or whatever, right, and like he's fucking dead. I was like, I fucking killed this guy. And I'm like looking around to see if there's witnesses, and I'm like, fuck, what do I do? I was like, I'm gonna have to just like drag his body under one of these cars, so that when whoever leaves, they just run him over, and then maybe they'll run his body over, and they'll be like, oh no, there's a fucking, I guess a drunk Marine crawled underneath the car, and then we didn't know he was there. We ran him over. Like, this is the shit that's going through my head, and I'm looking at him, so I like lean down and like feel for his pulse, and he has a pulse. I'm like, start slapping his face. I was like, motherfucker, you wake up, you better get up. You if you are dead, I'm gonna be so pissed, you motherfucker. And then he like wakes up and he looks at me. I'm like, oh, hey man, and I like lift him up and I'm like, hey bro, how's it going? He's like, oh, he's like, hey, what happened? I was like, I don't know, man. Well, I'm gonna buy you a shot. Let's go inside. And he was like, okay. So we went inside and I bought I bought him a shot, and I don't know if he remembered what happened, but I mean, he didn't fuck with my buddy anymore after that. And then a couple years later, Hoffman, is that his name? A couple years later, somebody told me they heard about it, and I guess apparently everyone hated that guy too. He wasn't in my platoon, so I didn't really know him, but apparently everybody hated him, and everyone's like, wow. They're like, man, I wish I could have been the one that did that to him. But yeah, see, it's stupid things you do when you're young and drinking too. It's like fucking. Oh, I thought I was a murder. I'd murdered this kid on accident. But anyways, yeah. So that's WanTaeWu. Some stories about him, I guess. But fuck, I'm almost at an hour. I'm not even close to do these. Oh my gosh, yeah, fuck. So that finishes out the. So that was just the prelims. As I was saying, this card was fucking incredible. So then yeah, Junior Dos Santos, Cyril Gane, or Gain or Gane. What the fuck? Fuck you, sexy. It was great. Cyril Gane, another heavyweight to keep a great heavyweight to keep an eye on. Oh yeah, Kevin Holland and Jacare Souza. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean Kevin Holland. I remember seeing him in the Contender Series too, and it was just they tell the whole story too. I always fucking he was just talking the whole time, and he's like, oh, the Stockton slap, and he's like, this is some fucking Nick and Nate Diaz, and he's like slapping the dude. He's talking the whole time, but he goes to decision. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna talk that much, you gotta fucking knock. And then he's like, yeah, hey Dana. I was like, this fucking dude is obnoxious. And so he won the fight, but he didn't get the contract. And I was like, good, this dude is a fucking. But come to find out, like, I mean, they tell the whole story, so you can hear it wherever. But anyways, he gets a call up against fucking Thiago Santos, because I can't remember his fight, who he's fighting, but the fight, his opponent fell out, got injured or something. And they're trying to find people to fill that, quick turnaround, short notice fight. And of course, I mean, it's Thiago Santos. Like, no one's just gonna be like, yeah, I'll go in there in 2 weeks' notice, fight that fucking dude that punches people's heads off. But Kevin Holland, he did. He went in there. He didn't win, but he was competitive the whole fight. And now look at us. End of 20. He has five fights, 5 wins in 2020. And he fucking knocked out Jacare Souza almost basically from his back. And he was talking the whole time. So now it's like, this dude he's something to watch. And he called out Hamzat Chimaev, which, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to do that. But, I mean, that would be interesting. But also, I don't know. I mean, that's fucking, man. That would be a fight to see for sure. I don't know if it's a fight to make right now, but because Chimaev is supposed to fight Leon Edwards, but that got postponed because of COVID's. I think they're rescheduling for sometime in January. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like something Chimaev, he'd be like, oh yeah, I smish. So, man, but I don't know. I think it's, yeah, it would be great to see, but also I think it's also good to maybe keep them separate for now, and because in that way you get you have two rising, because I mean they're both on like a upward trajectory right now, so then you have something to build up to, but it would still be pretty cool to see. And that Kevin Holland, that knockout, like him hitting. I'll tell a story another time about me and my boy No Ju Hyun, and me getting. And this is how when I really, because I have a fucking flat nose, and I've been punched in the nose a lot, and I've always been like, oh yeah, lucky I have a flat nose. But there was this one fight where I was like, this is when I knew that my nose is like. I'm blessed to have a nose that's like flat to my face, This dude was just was at full mount. He was just like sitting on my chest, basically punching me right in the fucking just boom, boom, boom. And I think my nose did bleed, but it was like, my fucking nose is flat to my face, so didn't. It didn't really matter. But that's a story for another time. Let me skip up. Oh yeah, Mackenzie Dern and Verna Jandaroba. Yeah, Mackenzie Dern. Won by decision. And that one, yeah, they're both fucking high level black belt, BJJ black belts. So it ended up being a kickboxing match. And they were slinging. I mean, it was good. And Mackenzie Dern, can't remember which round, maybe the second round, her nose got broken. She leaned down right into a fucking knee, her nose was broken. Her coach, she goes to the stool, and her coach is like, she's like, I think my nose is broken. And the coach is like, no, you're good. I was like, there, good coach. He's like, you got this. I think my nose is broken. No, you're good. Like, he doesn't even look at it. He's, no. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But it worked out. She got the win. Looked great too. And they were fucking slugging, swinging. Then, oh no. El Cucuy, Tony Ferguson, and Charles Oliveira. Bittersweet. Very, very bitter and a little sweet, though. But, man, I'll sum it up this way. Tony Ferguson. So Charles Oliveira did to Tony Ferguson. So he did to him on the ground what Justin Gaethje did to him on his feet. And people are coming to this. My buddy, same buddy I was talking about earlier that I was texting with about it, the fights. He's like, Oliveira's gonna win. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm gonna bet on, or I'm not making any bets on this one because I was like, it could go either way. But I'm rooting for Ferguson. I was like, everyone, like, after that. He did get pieced up by fucking Justin in that last fight, but he made weight twice, and so he might have been tired, and this blah blah blah, and everyone's forgetting he was on like a fucking 12-fight winning streak, just smoking people before that. And I was like, so he's just, and then he got fucking, he got crushed by Justin Gaethje. So I was like, everyone's just remembering that last fight, and I was like, they forgot about the 12 before that. And I was like, he's great striker, great grappler. He's crazy. He throws fucking imaginary sand. He's like, I love this. He's crazy. I love it. So I was like, and Oliver, fucking great. But I was like, I'm going for Ferguson. And my buddy was like, if Tony loses this fight, he should quit. And I was like, everyone just count him out. Everyone just remember that last fight, forgetting about the 12 before that. Then this one, it was just like, man, it's sad. There's some fights where it's, so I had a list of fights where it's like I was like emotionally affected for like days after. And like one of them was like fucking Sugar Sean's last fight, where his foot fell off, and then fuck, what was the other one? There was a couple, because there's one before that, but that one for sure, when Sean O'Malley lost that fight to Cheeto, that one fucked me up. And then Game of Thrones, when Prince Oberyn, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, when Prince Oberyn got his head smushed by the mountain. Man, I couldn't even watch. Like, I went back and watched the seasons. I skipped that episode for like a couple years. It took me a while to be able to go back and watch that one. So this was on that level, just watching Ferguson get dominated. And the fucking armbar. Oh my! If the bell had not rung, I'm pretty sure he would have let his arm just get snapped right off, because it was hyperextended, his left arm, and coming out into the second or third round, whichever round that was. I think it was the second. I think the armbar came at the end of the first round, and then the second round, his left arm, it was like he couldn't even use it. So like the whole second round, he had no he it his arm, because I mean it hyperextended. You can see it bent fucking backwards. Ugh. And that, I mean, that's also how tough he is. He's like, nope. He's like, you're not to fucking snap my arm off to fucking make me quit. But yeah, Charles Oliveira, fucking incredible. What a fucking beast. And I'm really interested in seeing. I'd like to see him fight Chandler. And if Khabib come back, that would, because I'm on, because Chandler has a, he's a fucking great wrestler. So I want to see out of the two of them, who's better. And then I think whoever does that, um, should Habib should come back for that 30th fight. And I mean, yeah, you got Conor and Poirier fighting in, I think, January. But I mean, Habib already beat both of them, choked them both out. And also, I mean, I think, yeah, Habib and Conor rematch will probably be the biggest. That's the biggest fight to make, you know, money and views wise. But I don't think Habib's gonna do it. I mean, he already said he wouldn't do it. Um, but I think just fight wise, between whoever went, like, between figuring it out between Michael Chandler and Oliveira, and then between the two of them. I mean, and watching that last night too, or not last night, the other night, uh, 2 nights ago, I'm thinking, like, watching Charles Oliveira, I'm like, looking at a future champ right here. Yeah, but it's very exciting to see this lightweight division, what happens. And then skipping to fucking the main event, Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. So they both, Figueiredo main evented last UFC 255 with 2 weeks ago, and then Moreno fought too. And they both, I think, won in the first round. So they're both quick turnaround, came into this, and I was betting on Figueiredo to win by submission, and it ended up being a fucking 5-round battle, fucking banger. Like, it was it did not. It's probably the greatest flyweight fucking fight ever. Probably fucking the great, one of the greatest fights at all ever, and then for sure the greatest flyweight fight ever. And then also, come to find out, fucking Davison Figueiredo, the night before, he was in the hospital at like 2 a.m. He had a stomach infection, so he was at the emergency room. So he had some kind of fucking stomach issue, and then he came in there and still fought 5 hard rounds where he still looked great. Oh my fuck. Can you imagine? No one's going to stop this guy. I mean, their rematch is going to be great. That's definitely, I mean, they did I mean, that was a great promo for another fight. So their rematch is going to be great. But also, just more about how fucking great Davison Figueiredo is. And yeah, to think that they were going, like, not that long ago, they're talking about getting rid of the flyweight division. But fucking, that's, whew, man, can't say enough. Like, pretty much, like, there's so on, like, UFC Fight Pass, there's you can watch the old fights, and so you can watch individual fights, or you can watch like the whole card, and they have a thing where you can, mark it as your favorite. And I was thinking about it the other day, because there's definitely cards with a bunch of fights that are good, and there's like individual fights. Like, obviously, like, most of fucking Israel Adesanya's fights are on my favorites list. But as far as like whole cards that are favorites, I was like, I wonder if there are any. Because I think maybe what was it, 251 maybe, the one where in Fight Island where Masvidal fought Usman. Fuck, who else was it? But it was like that whole card. At least the main card for sure. It was like, after, like, there would be one. Fuck, I wish I could remember. But each fight, I was like, holy shit, I can't remember. There's more fights to come because I felt like that was a main event. So that one, probably, if I didn't favorite it already, I was like, yeah, I could put that whole card on the favorite. This one, yeah, same thing. Now there's two cards for sure where I could go back and watch every single fight from the early prelims, from little baby Chase Hooper, little mini Askren looking. I think him and Ben Askren have a curly head club or some shit like that, and all the way up to the main, all the way up to the main event. And even as fucking heartbreaking as it was to watch Tony Ferguson get dominated, it was incredible to watch Charles Oliveira dominate him. Because, so yeah, yeah, I think every single fight on this card is worth watching over like more than once. And then obviously then there's the ones that stand out. So it's a fucking incredible. It was great. Fucking couldn't have planned a better last pay-per-view for the year. I'm over an hour. So I'm gonna call it quits. Made it through. There was something I was going to shout out. I mean, of course, always Apothecary. I haven't got my new. It's supposed to come in the mail today. My tinctures, but and then they're talking about increasing the strength of the nighttime one. So whenever that comes, I'll let y'all know. Whenever the lucid dreaming one comes, I'll let y'all know. And I wish I could remember what the other thing I was gonna actually shout out was, but if not, I don't know. Anyways, thanks for listening. If you're still listening, also check out the other podcast, the Hookin Forum. I'm working on getting some guests. This COVID shit fucked everything up. I don't want to do Zoom ones, but I might have to. Well, and we'll see if we make it work. But anyways, like always, fuck you later.